mention my sporting love. So it's anything with a football, ball, stick, bat, I'm into it. Great armchair critic. Can't play it to save my life, but I'm an expert anyway. So, selling your business. It's something which you get faced with.
There you go.
Ah, there we go. Technology is working.
You can use this.
There's a little sticker there. Right, perfect. See the technology working. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so brief rundown. Memorized it. Right. So there's a lot of questions which you've got to ask yourself when you're selling a business. The first one is, why are you selling? One of the critical things about determining how you're going to sell the business in the future is why you're doing it. Then, what do you actually want to achieve by selling the business? Now, those two things are very fundamental questions when looking at what to do. What are you selling? Now, most of you here is professional services business, so it's going to be pretty straightforward about what you are selling. Who do I sell to? Often the questions are, do I have a succession plan? Do I have somebody in the business to sell to? Am I selling to a third party? Who is my audience? Who can I sell my business to? And how do you get what you want? But it's critical to actually think about the whys and the hows. To the left, to the left. There we go. No, to the right, to the right. There we go. So, looks pretty simple, doesn't it? 5 steps. Do an assessment, preparation, find buyer, negotiate, sell. Done. Unfortunately, it's not quite that straightforward. I think a lot of people have a misconception that selling a business can be simple, particularly when you're sold these little lovely diagrams that say, you know, it's 5 steps, how hard can it be? The reality is it can take quite a long time. One of the deals that I did a couple of years back, does anybody remember Forest Coach Lines, North Shore Bus Company? Yep.
Yeah.
I helped with
Tony Royal.
Tony Royal, that's right. I helped them sell the business to private equity. Now, we spent 12 months just trying to actually work out how that sale would happen amongst the family. We had mum, dad, 2 sons and a daughter. One brother wanted to stay in the business, while the others were happy to sell and get out. It took 12 months of negotiation with the family to try and create a sale mandate, which actually worked to allow the younger son to participate fairly in a purchase process. Because the bus company went to tender, a lot of different entities or purchasers were identified and expressions of interest obtained. Now, to his credit, he actually won the bid with backing of private equity. And 3 years later, they just sold it recently. It's in the papers for over $100 million. So they did about 2.5 times the value over 3 years because, again, they bolted on. They did a whole bunch of acquisitions to improve the business. What I'm saying is that 12 months to get from we're going to sell to actually here's how we're going to sell it. It takes time, it takes some commitment, and that's one of the things which I think a lot of people do struggle with and grapple with when it comes to selling a business. So why am I selling? There are many reasons. Anyone want to give me a couple of reasons from the floor why I want to sell a business?
Retiring.
Retiring, that's one.
Well,
Health, yep. Any others?
not making money.
Not making money, yeah. Industries change. So there are lots of reasons. Sometimes retirement succession, that's often a big one, particularly with baby boomers. There's the wave of businesses up for sale, and the tsunami that is always coming has been coming the last 20 years, whenever you read the papers. But it's true. Getting to an age where retirement is an important thing. What am I going to do? What's the business going to give to me when I retire? Is it going to fund my retirement? How much can my business be my nest egg? There's some critical questions around using a business to fund a retirement. Burnout, we also have that from time to time. If you've had enough, you want to get out of it. Health issues identified, industry changes. So industry change, Dale was talking about disruptors in the industry just a few moments ago. Those things happen all the time. The industry isn't what you were excited about when you first got into business. That changes, you think, time to move on. The unexpected offer. This is the sort of the golden egg. You get somebody out there who comes and says, I want your business for this much. And you go, that's just way too good to refuse. I've got to take it and go. The problem is those things aren't happening much these days. It's very rare to find that. That's the best one because you don't have to do a whole lot. It just comes to you. It's like hallelujah. Other times you might be in a business where you go, you know what, I can't take it to the next level or I don't want to. So you need to actually give it to somebody else to take the reins. If you're expanding your business, you want professional management in there, those sorts of things to actually improve the business to take it to a much more bigger enterprise. Then there's just cashing out. You realise it's a good business, it makes money, I just want to get the money in the door and move on to do other things. And of course, the Ds, the disputes and the divorces. You might be in business with a partner. It was great 10 years ago, but suddenly things have changed. For whatever reason, you've fallen out of favour with each other, you need to sell. And of course, family issues as well take their toll in business and forced sales. So what do I want to achieve? Again, anyone got some suggestions? If you sell your business, what do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? What's the outcome that you're looking for?
Cash.
Cash? Yeah?
Yeah, enough money though, right?
Enough money? Yeah?
Sometimes you want the business to go on even though you can't go with it.
Yep, so some succession?
Yeah.
Yep. So it's important to assess what your needs are. What are you looking to do when you sell that business? Of course, fund a retirement and a lifestyle. Who doesn't want to sit on the beach and get a tan? Sometimes it's a health issue. You want to actually, I don't want the stress anymore, I've got to move on. Let's forget about the business and do some other things. Get the hell out of Dodge. Again, this is where it's a forced sale. There's stress in your life, there's disputes, maybe the business is going backwards, and you just want to get out. Next adventure, some people are serial entrepreneurs. They build a business, they think I've had enough, time to move on. Or, just show me the money. And everyone said, money, money. And that's I think one of the key things. What value does your business have when you're going to sell it? Has anyone done a valuation of their business recently? Anyone know what it's worth? Yep, one? One out of 40? That's one of the critical things about selling your business, knowing what it's worth. You might have an idea about what you think it's worth, but is it actually worth that much? Those two aren't always aligned, and that's a critical thing when you're thinking about selling your business, because you want it to fund something. You want it to, you want the cash. You spent years and years building the business, making it something. If you think it's worth this, and your accountant says it's worth that, there's a big gap to breach. The question is then identifying that difference and then trying to make that gap smaller so it actually meets the needs or your requirements. So why are you selling? Or what are you selling, I should say? So you're a professional services business. So principally you've got your goodwill, which is your rubbery figure. That's what you think you're worth. May not be what the balance sheet says, but you think I'm worth X dollars. Your work in progress, your relationships. One of the key things with professional services businesses is those relationships. And they can be often hard to transition to new people. Your contracts, your know-how. You're working in business for a long time. You've got a lot of information stored up here. Now, how many of you have actually sat down and thought, have I got my policies and processes in place? Have I documented all the stuff that I know? Can I pass that on to my business partners or the next people coming in? One of the hard things is, if you have IP and know-how, which is locked in your memory, how do you sell that to a purchaser? How do you say that has value if you're no longer going to be in that business? That's one of the other key factors around selling a business. Are you going to be expected to stay there, and for how long? Now, if you want to get the hell out of Dodge, you don't want to be there, and you can't add value, the price which you'll get will drop. So you've got to think about how can I actually make sure that my business is attractive to a buyer? Do I have all the elements there that they are going to need when they buy it? Now, do you sell the whole thing or a part of it? Again, it depends where you are in the life cycle of your business and what you're looking to achieve. Sometimes it's just, again, I'm going to get out, just dump it all, move on. Sometimes it's a transition process. You sell a part of it, you sell it down to your management or to your family. But or employees, you transition it out gradually. Might be a 2, 5, 10 year period. But again, it's that planning process to say, what am I trying to achieve? What's my timeline? And how do I get to that stage? Now, if you're a company, you've got two options. You can sell the assets of the company to somebody else. We can actually sell the company itself, which are the shares. Now, shares are generally preferred from a tax position for a vendor. However, the flip side of that is, if someone's buying your company, they're going to give you a contract which has about 120 warranties in it, about you've done everything perfectly. So again, you've got to know your business intimately. Have you filed all your tax returns? Is there any litigation that's been hanging around? Any workers' comp claims? Any contracts which you've entered into which might not be particularly favourable? So all those things you've got to, again, be very understanding and considerate of, particularly when giving warranties in a share sale. Sole traders, partnerships, it's really just the assets that you've got, your partnership interest, whatever it might be that you've got in front of you. So not as much flexibility compared to a corporate structure. Trusts are the same, just the assets. Unless it's a unit trust, but people generally don't buy the trusts or, they really don't want trust that much, they've got their own. Who do I sell to? I touched on this earlier. The next generation. Now, passing the business to the family doesn't happen as much as it used to. The kids these days, with their iPads and iPods and whatever, they want to do other things. They might not think your business is that interesting anymore. It's just not what they want to do. There's a lot more choice out there in the younger generation. And that being said, when you look at the next generation, do you really want to sell to them? Clearly, you know what I was watching in the 80s. So those of you who remember the young ones from the 80s?
Yeah.
So who's there? Your business partner or your management. They're the people who know the business. They're the people who are most probably vested and interested in the business. So if you're looking at selling, you've got to have lines of communication with them. They've got to be incentivised. You've got to find if they want to be part of the business or take it over going forward. Now that can sometimes be a difficult conversation to have, but who said this was easy? These are the things that you have to start to do. Of course, your competitors. You look at your marketplace. Who do I sell to? Well, who else is going to buy my business apart from a competitor? If it's not the first two. That's your market. Who's in your market? Who's on the acquisition trail? Look around and see who's interested in buying. There's one which I call other. So it depends who gets the best deal there, who that applies to that picture. Whether it be your business partner, maybe it's you. Someone's getting the best deal there and going, yay, great. The other is someone like private equity. They might be looking to build a portfolio and looking at businesses to try and put into their portfolio to wrap them up into a larger organisation and sell. Private equity does have a lot of cash, but to be honest, professional services isn't their big thing. They're looking at other industries. So that's probably not going to be an option. But there's your first three. Not many options about where you're going to sell that business into. So you've got to look very carefully at who is out there. Who do you know? Who's the person that you can speak to? So how do you get what you want? Inaction is one of those things which causes a lot of problems down the track. People think, it is a bit hard, I've got better things to do, I'm selling my business, now I've got other things, contracts are coming in, I've got clients to manage, I've got my business to run, I'll put all this to one side. It's just procrastination, because at some point you're going to have to sell your business. It depends whether you're controlling it or it's controlling you. And that's why you need to plan. And even if you get unforeseen circumstances, if you've done some preparation work, those can be managed a lot better, rather than having to be just purely reactive to a situation. That's the force versus the planned sale. Now some things will happen unexpectedly. Health is one of those ones which happens very quickly and unexpectedly at times. You can also have downturns in the economy which happen rapidly and affect your business in a very, very extreme way. But you can also plan for those things too. It's about business health, making sure your business is functioning at an optimal level. Where's the value? Have you put a plan in place to get that optimal value down the track? It allows you to be more proactive when these things do occur. See if this thing works. Let's see. It's a little clip that I like to play sometimes, just to say, you know, you think business is going great, but unexpected things do happen.
Just work on this one.
No, can't locate it. No. Oh.
Oh, no.
No. Anyway, it's a little clip of a gazelle running across the African savannah, going full tilt, 100 miles an hour, free as a bird, free as a gazelle, just running along. There's a couple of lions just lying there, just looking at it thinking, oh, no, it's gone. Then bang, hits a tree. It's wiped out. Right next to the lions, so you just go, cool. Because it's unexpected. You know, you think your business is running really, really smoothly, and things happen really without warning. Especially if you've got a business partner. If their health deteriorates, if they go through a divorce, you know, those things are unexpected. People change over time. Those are some of the things as well in terms of communication with the business partners, understanding what's happening with them and the business as a whole. But if they happen quickly and you aren't in a position to react to those things, you're going to lose value. And that's what this all comes down to. Preparation means an improved value 98% of the time. And because everyone said they wanted cash, that's why these things are important to do. I clicked out. Oh. Oh. Let me get back in. Oh, no, here we are. Not liking it. Nope. There we go. That's all right. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So, be a Boy Scout, be prepared. Right advisors, and let's face it, everyone thinks, do I need to get the accountants and the lawyers involved? Really? Do I have to do it? Yes, you do actually. Yeah, it's important to do that. The reason being is that you guys aren't in the business of selling businesses. Yeah, we generally are. That's why in terms of getting the advice, get it early and prepare. Now, again, it's always a cost factor. People think, oh, I don't want to spend the money, but don't prepare, you're going to lose value down the track. Or even if things happen and you react to it, it's going to cost you more to react to those things quickly than it is to actually plan ahead. It's like we tell our kids, plan for the future. Don't sit there playing Fortnite all day. Actually do your homework. Similar sort of thing here. What's your number? How much do you need to sell your business, to fund either your retirement, to prepare for the future? What is that number? Again, is it a realistic number? If your number is here and the actual value is here, how do you make those things meet? Tax is a big one. A lot of tax is required, tax analysis are required in terms of working out how you get the best outcome. Particularly in succession positions, succession arrangements with family businesses. There's a lot of stuff which you can do around those to actually get good value by adjusting the assets to get good tax benefits. And that's where you can see it's worthwhile spending that little bit of money on the advisors to get that piece right. Understanding your market. Here's what I said to you about who do you sell to. What's the market doing at the moment? Gone are the pre-GFC days. You could run a business, say, I'm going to sell it, and people will be all over you to buy your business. That's long gone. Nowadays, people want value. People are saying, okay, why should I buy your business? There's you're all selling your business. Again, supply and demand. The baby boomers are all at the same time. Does that mean there's an oversupply of businesses on the market? So it's about picking your time to sell as well. Now, if you're a buyer and you've got businesses everywhere, what's that going to mean? Your price is going to be knocked down because there's too much opportunity, too much competition in the marketplace. How do you make your businesses more attractive? Again, prepare it for sale. Get the things right which increase that value. Value today versus value tomorrow. That's what I keep coming back to. What is your business worth today? What should it be worth in 5 years' time? Again, to get to that number that you need to be happy about selling your business. Vendor due diligence in cleaning house. This is a key one, particularly when it comes to selling a business and I suppose separating yourself from the competition. If you've got a very well-run business, if you've got good books, good records, it's all looking squeaky clean, purchasers are comforted. If there are doubts that are caused in a purchaser's mind because you don't have information and things aren't in appropriate order, it's just an excuse for a purchaser to say, oh, I'll go to another business which I think I feel more comfortable with, or because I feel there's risk involved as a purchaser, I'm going to knock your price down. This is a classic of private equity. Back to the forest example. When we were looking at the sale, and we actually had the buyer, we'd identified an issue for the family in terms of local government approvals for the bus depot. They've been there for 8 years, so we were like, well, there'll be existing use rights, but you need to really get this squared away. The response I got was, oh no, we've got great relationships with council, it'll be right, it'll be fine, no, it's okay, you know, it'll be fine when we get to it. I said, we should get to it now. No, there are other things you have to do. Sure enough, when we got to it, of course there were problems. When push comes to shove, and you've got councils having to do their job, they're not going to just give you a blank tick, off you go. It's like, actually, wait, you've got to work through this process, because they've got their own processes to work through. So we actually had a 6-month delay in the sale process to try and sort out some of these environmental and planning issues, which should have been resolved well in advance. But these are some of the things about cleaning house. And again, what that caused us was a loss in value, because the private equity firm was all over us, chiseling every cent they could out of the purchase price because of these things. Acquire and dispose, again, with your business, is it the right size at the moment? Do you need to get rid of some non-core parts of your business? Do you need to acquire other businesses to bulk up your business for a sale? It's about getting that balance right, about what's attractive for a purchaser, but also what you're looking to try and sell and trying to achieve at the back end of this process. So getting ready to sell, think like a buyer. If you were going to buy your business, all the emotion taken out of it, be objective and go, would I buy my business? Would I pay that much that I think I should get? If the answer is yes, you're probably lucky, because the answer would most likely be no. Because you'll look at things and go, I should have done that better, or there's an issue here, an issue there. There's a thing which I could have done that I haven't. Be things which you'll identify to go, okay, to get this working so it's most attractive, I need to tie these things up. Now, when you go to sell your business, you might think, well, I should put out in the trading post. Let's tell the world I'm ready to sell. That's probably not the best way to go about it. I actually like that one. So I bite my tongue all the time. Keep it relatively quiet. Find people or a select group of people who you might be able to have the conversation with about buying the business. If your business is on the market and it's well known or widely known, it tends to push the price down, because suddenly there's people who think, well, if they're telling everybody, maybe the business isn't that strong. Maybe there are some issues there. Now, some people might say you get competitive tension. You might be able to say, well, there's lots of other buyers, therefore we can play them off against each other. But generally, it doesn't happen quite that way. And also, don't be afraid to ask for non-disclosure agreements. Because if you're selling to a competitor and you're opening the kimono and giving them all your information, and they decide not to buy your business, they're going to have access to that information that could be used against you down the track. Yes, as a lawyer, I'm a bit paranoid, but I've seen it happen too many times where, oh, you give it to a friend or a mate, or it's okay, it's just having a bit of a chat, and that information has been disclosed and it's come back to the woman. Have plan A and plan B. You're going to have an optimal position. That's great. That's what you go for. But have a fallback, because in negotiations and when things are happening, you're not always going to get necessarily your plan A. So be flexible. Be flexible in the negotiation piece. Again, you're going to have an optimal position, but also think about where you can make concessions to get the deal done. Staff. Staff get nervous when they hear a business is being sold. So, depending on the size of your business and the nature of your relationships with your staff, think careful about when you might bring them into the tent to say, I'm looking at selling my business. Generally speaking, if it's a sale to senior management, try and keep it within that tight circle. They'll know the employees and what might happen. So a third party, again, keep it quiet, because the deal might not go through. And you've got staff here who are thinking, well, if you sell, is my job going to go? So again, that relationship with your staff is very important to maintain a good handle on. Because if a purchase comes in and the staff are nervous and they want key staff to stay, that again could be a fundamental piece for them in terms of what they'll offer you for your business, making sure that the right staff do stay on board. And it's one of these things you've got to work at. These are not the easiest things to do. You know, a bit doom and gloom at the moment, but it does take time, it does take effort. Selling a business is a big thing. It doesn't just happen overnight. So you've got a buyer. What do you do? Again, the advisors. It's what we do. We negotiate these deals all the time. We advise people how to go about it. We try and make it as easy for you as possible. Get that initial understanding. I've got at the moment where the commercial deals are sort of discussed. We've been engaged down the track after the accountants have sort of worked some terms out with the purchaser and the vendor. Yet there are issues which have been overlooked from a legal perspective. And we raise the question and say, guys, we've thought about these issues and these issues and these issues. And sometimes it's like, oh, actually we hadn't thought about that. We thought this would be the outcome, or maybe this is okay. So it's about having that understanding between your advisors as well, both your accounting and your legal. Now, tax and legal don't always see eye to eye in terms of outcomes, but we generally will try and give you the best outcome possible. Certainly from an accounting point of view, there are some pretty creative solutions that accountants can come up with, which can be very hard to document from a legal point of view. But get those initial understanding, write them down in a term sheet, not a binding document, a non-binding term sheet, so everyone is very clear about what the commercial deals are. What are the key factors for you? Have them all listed out, because that will save, pardon me, that will save the negotiations down the track and also make documenting the deal a whole lot easier. And then it would be negotiation drafting, just depending on how complex it might be, what the purchaser is like, and again there's always an unknown there about how they're going to respond. Are they going to make it an easy deal or a difficult deal? Just depends again who you're selling to. And at the end of it, once you've signed everything, the question is, did you get what you want? That's always a bit of an unknown. Hopefully you have, but what you want will depend upon what's driving your sale. And as we started at the beginning with those various points about, is it a planned sale, is it a forced sale, that will dictate often what the outcome is. But the take-home piece is really saying, get prepared for your business sale. There are costs involved in doing preparation, but it's going to be far better for you to be ready to go than to have to react on the fly. These things have a lot of moving parts. So that's the take-home piece. If you are looking at selling a business, have that conversation, think about what you're trying to achieve, why you want to do it, what is the outcome that you want. And start having a chat to your advisors to start putting a plan in so you can achieve those goals. And that's it. So any questions?
Question for you, Jason.
Yes.
If you wanted to close down your business, not necessarily sell it,
Yep.
you know, you want to get out of the business for whatever reason, you want to close that down, what are the steps you need to take on a legal side and also an accounting side?
Yeah. And that's, I mean, that's often what happens is, because selling can be a bit difficult, people often just close the doors. You know, they look at it and go, either the difference between what I want and what I'll get is just too great, it's too hard to get there, and so we'll just wind it up and close the doors. Now, in terms of the accounting side, not being an accountant, so I'll be very careful what I say. It depends on what your history is. You know, what's the balance sheet look like? What are the debts and liabilities? You know, are you going to do a voluntary winding up, for example? Do you have debts which you just can't pay? So you just collapse the company, go into administration, wind up, and move on. That's it. From a legal point of view, again, those processes are just discussions you have to have. Now, if it's a voluntary winding up, and you've got very minimal assets, very minimal debts, it's a very straightforward process. But again, if you've got substantial assets, there are taxes in there, things which need to be paid, which you don't be able to pay, you look at a winding up, it can still be voluntary, but then you wind up, liquidate, and off you go. That's, yeah. It's hard to sort of give you a specific guideline of what to do without knowing what your business looks like. But typically, it's rip out all the assets, all the cash, so there's very little left. You've paid off all your employees, they've all been made redundant, they've been terminated, you've wound up your contracts, so hopefully there's just an empty shell that's left. And then you put it into administration and liquidate it and close it all down. And that process can take a bit of time, depending exactly what is left. If you've got a lot of liabilities in that business, which you're looking to escape from, of course you're going to have creditors who are going to be not very happy with you. So it's that process of, do I burn people because I don't care anymore, I'm going to be off, or do you try and make the exit as clean as possible, because that's the way we've always done your business.